What is going on, guys? SkiveWalker here, and today me and the Fett finally got our schedule together after a few hectic weeks with the draft, with me moving, both of us with work. It's been ridiculous, but we finally got together and we're going to be recapping the NBA draft. What is going on, my man?
What is up? Finally back in the house together. Let's talk some NBA drafts.
Back in the saddle again. So we were looking over our mock drafts, and neither of us were really great.
But SkiveWalker is a lot better than I was. I'm really good at picking Chicago's picks.
Yeah, you're good at the Bulls, which is great considering they're our rivals. But I got the first 4 right, switched 5 and 6, got 7 wrong, and then got 8 right and 9. Got 8 and 9 right, and then mine started to fall downhill. But anyway, so let's go into it. So obviously, me and you both had DeAndre Ayton going to the Suns,
which I like.
It's the best player in the draft. It wasn't even close.
Right, and that helps them a lot because they needed a post straight up. They needed a big. I don't think Alex Len was going to turn into anything, and as well, I don't think who else is there? Tyson Chandler.
Yeah, he's just old. He's just another guy who got paid way too much money when the salary cap went up by Dallas, and then Dallas tried to shed money, and Phoenix tried to give him another shot. And see, Tyson Chandler's a decent center, but he needs to be coming off the bench, not playing 30 minutes a game. But I think with Alex Len, I think he's more of like a Tyler Zeller type player, where he's not awful. Like he's an NBA player, but he's just one of those guys who's going to go from team to team to team to team and just be a backup center. Which, again, for me and you, I would love to go team to team to team to team and making millions of dollars on the bench.
Plus, he's from that beautiful basketball college down there in College Park, University of Maryland, Terps.
Yeah.
Woo! Waiting to drop that one in. We'll be back in 10 years. Don't worry.
Yeah. But DeAndre Ayton, I like to pick for what you said. He's a post guy, and he can also shoot the 3-ball.
Shoots a 3-ball, on top of that, on the block, he's a beast. Defensive-wise, he's I think that's maybe the one aspect of his game he's going to need to work on in the NBA because he's still a little light. I mean, you throw Boogie, AD, DeAndre Jordan, some of the big fives in the NBA, you're going to have issues with that type of leaner body style. 2 years, he should be able to pack on the meat. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's going to come in and for Phoenix, he's going to contribute right away.
Yes.
It's another player that they need, another scoring threat, and helps Devin Booker. But yeah, he's got some weight he's got to gain on him, which he'll get. I mean, everybody in the NBA is going to end up gaining weight with these rookies coming in. But he reminds me a lot of Joel Embiid, but with a 3-ball. Whereas Embiid is more of a post guy. DeAndre Ayton can do both. Where
Embiid's so he's almost like a stretch 5 categorized.
Right, but he can score a lot like Embiid. He can score in the post, but then he also is better than Embiid where he can stretch out and shoot the 3.
Okay.
And he's also a lot more agile.
Well, I know you saw that tweet from Embiid where he said, "Don't compare me. I play defense."
Oh,
that was awesome.
And that is going to turn into a rivalry, and that's what the NBA needs.
Yes, we need more of those. So moving on, let's get out of Phoenix because we have a lot to talk about with Phoenix. Number 2, Sacramento Kings, all right? You have this one right, minus the trade.
Yeah, I had the trade with the Clippers jumping all the way up to 2 and stealing a guy because the Kings weren't sure whether they were going to take Bagley or trade out, and they were wanting to trade out. And then about 5 minutes before the draft started, they locked in the pick. So I was like, well, but I still get the pick right with Marvin Bagley.
So you're 2 for 2. This is where I start to struggle here. I had Luka going here just because, why wouldn't you want the best young shooting guard in the game? So for me personally, don't get me wrong, Marvin Bagley is a great post player. I don't like Duke, but he's from Duke. So, but I honestly think that with the small ball era, why wouldn't you add another guard if you're Sacramento? Then everyone's like, oh, Buddy Hyde. Well, Buddy Hyde is not on the same level as Luka.
No, Luka Doncic is a beast. Buddy Hield is a good ball player. I like Buddy Hield in 2K. I trade for him all the time because the dude has like a 93-point shooting, which I think is a little overrated personally.
Yeah.
But the dude is awesome in 2K. Just saying, if you want a shooting guard for your team and you want a guy cheap and easy to trade for, Buddy Hield, overall 80. But other than that, I do like Buddy Hield. But yeah, Luka Doncic. And see, what's great about Luka Doncic, he's not more of a scorer. He's more of a passer and defensive guy.
Yes.
And he could very easily play the 1 where Buddy Hield plays the 2. But then on defense, Doncic guards the shooting guard where Buddy Hield guards the point guard.
And the problem with that is moving Luka to the 1, they drafted someone last year to play the 1.
Right.
So basically, I like Bagley's skill set at the 4. I don't think He's more of a post 4. I don't think he stretches the floor. I don't think he has the shooting from outside. But I do see why he was selected too. It's a good fit for them. He plugs in, starts right away. Ever since Boogie Cousins left, they've needed post presence there.
I can see him. He reminds me a lot of Kevin Love, because when Kevin Love first came into the league, he didn't have that 3-point shot.
Right.
He didn't have it until about 4 years into his career, which I think is what's going to happen with Marvin Bagley.
Right. Totally agree. All right. Moving on to number 3. I got this one wrong as well.
I got it right.
Yep. So this makes you 3 for 3. Go ahead.
Luka Doncic to the Atlanta Hawks, which is a steal, especially when they're looking to trade Dennis Schroeder.
Yes. And they definitely needed, with Schroeder, with the possibility of coming to Cleveland.
I wish, dude.
Parentheses,
if we can't
asterisk.
get Kemba Walker, I would love to get Dennis Schroeder.
Me too. But Luka here, the Hawks draft him, but then they trade him to Dallas. Okay, So we'll discuss this more as we get to the Dallas pick. But Luka goes 3. How do you feel about Memphis staying with the 4th pick overall and snagging Jaren Jackson out of Michigan State?
I was ticked because I wanted Cleveland to trade up for number 4. And even as much as I don't want Chandler Parsons, if I could have had Jaren Jackson and had to deal with Chandler Parsons, I would have been happy, because Jaren Jackson is my favorite player in the draft. And I told you about him how long ago? And you were telling me I was crazy.
Well, I told you were crazy at going at number 1 is what I was saying.
Yeah, that's true, because DeAndre. But Jaren Jackson in college was running the 3, and the dude is 7 foot. He averaged 3 blocks a game in college.
Right.
His 3-point shot was like a 47% from the 3-point line in college.
But
the guy is a beast.
Does he mix on the front line for Memphis? Because now you're looking at a Mike Conley mixed with a Marc Gasol.
Oh, he works perfect for this reason. Marc Gasol and him can both shoot 3-pointers, which is great. I mean, Marc Gasol's not a great 3-point shooter, but he can extend it out there like Powell can.
Okay.
He's Jaren Jackson's a much better 3-point shooter, and what's great about Jaren Jackson is he's so agile and so quick with his feet. If somebody goes to switch on him with a pick and roll with Mike Conley, he can guard the 1s, he can guard the 2s, he can guard literally every position on the court. Maybe he's not nearly as fast as the point guards, but he's got quick feet, and he's very smart defensively, where he can cut off those lanes where the point guards try to go around him. They're not going to be able to do it on this guy, so he's very good defensively.
Right.
Whereas as Marc Gasol gets older, he's going to start falling off.
Yeah.
Where this guy comes in, and Marc Gasol can kind of step out a little bit, where Jaren Jackson can still stay in there. And really, in their offense, they can still shoot 3-pointers.
I agree with you.
And still go in the paint.
But to the extent of, you have Marc Gasol, he can shoot the 3, and Jackson Jr., who's going to be under the boards? And at that point, that's my question, because Memphis doesn't have Tyreek Evans. He's unrestricted.
Right.
So you lose that guy that crashed the boards, that was a triple-double threat, that was athletic enough that could score inside and out. So, makes sense. It's a great pick for them. Like you said, Jaren Jackson is a beast. There's no doubt about it.
Love this, man. I would have given up Kevin Love for this guy. I even said it in my mock. I would have given up Kevin Love for him. Mainly because if we lost LeBron, he's somebody that you can truly build around. And if you kept that 8 pick, and when we get to the Colin Sexton pick, you can have Colin Sexton and Jaren Jackson for the next couple of years.
Oh, yeah,
that'd be a bright future. Duo. But yeah, so I love Jaren Jackson, and I think he has a better skill set than Kevin Love. I think he really is going to be the next superstar. I think out of every player who has the most potential, I think he really does. Okay. Have the most potential for a superstar, only because with DeAndre Ayton, you have the defensive problems.
Yes.
And then Luka Doncic, you have the scoring problems.
Right.
So I think this guy gives you the best all around. Now, I know Luka Doncic has the lower floor and the higher ceiling, but this guy with his defense and his offense, I just don't think you can go wrong. He can go in any scheme. Now with your boards, I think at that point it's going to come down to coaching. It's going to be
play style.
Right. When you have one guy out, you have to have the other one in crashing the board. Now, if you have them both out, there's nobody getting a rebound, and you're done, and you're going. You're
playing for
back
the win.
On defense.
Yeah.
So that's where his coach is going to have to come in big, where you only have one of them going in at a time, and him and Marc Gasol's communication has got to be big.
Right.
Has to.
Okay.
So going to number 5.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Yep. So let's talk about the trade. Okay,
Terrible trade.
Trae Young. Trae Young gets drafted here by the Mavs, and then he's traded to Atlanta, for Luka. And I got to agree with you. I'm scratching my head about Atlanta trading what I consider the second all right.
He's definitely the second best, and he's the safest pick.
He's the safest pick in Luka. And you go after Trae Young, which it makes sense for the Mavs to go after and want Luka, but Trae Young is kind of a question mark because it was just a small sample size in college, and I'm not totally sold on Trae Young. I think I like his game. I like his threes. I like him dishing. I like him driving to the basket. But there are problems to where he forces things. He dribbles into other bodies, and
he doesn't play any defense. So he is like Steph Curry in college with more assists. So here's the question today with Trae Young: is he Steph Curry or is he Mike Bibby? Because that's kind of where it's going to come down to.
Man, you nailed that one right there. I got to agree with you.
Now, Mike Bibby had a solid career. So even if he came up with Mike Bibby won a ring. Yeah. So now he didn't win it by himself, obviously. That Kings team in 2003 was sick. So that was when Vlad Divac was in his prime too. So I don't think Trae Young by himself is ever going to lead a team, and I tend to think he's going to lead towards Mike Bibby only because he got found out in college. And once he was the only... Now, in his defense, he was the only scorer on his team. But still, even in the NBA, they're taller, bigger, faster. If they can swamp you like that in college, it scares me a lot in the pros.
Yep, totally agree. So we'll have to see how that works out. I'm just not a big fan of Trae Young here. Yeah, I actually had him come to Cleveland, which I thought would be a better fit with him, say, if LeBron stays. Right. Because, he would be required to score. You know what I mean?
He wouldn't get sworn because you can't leave LeBron James wide open. You can't leave Kevin Love wide open.
Exactly.
So I think for Dallas, only giving up another first-rounder next year, and it's protected, they gave up a protected first-round pick.
Which basically means they're going to get it back because
they're going to stink again.
Exactly. The
Mavs.
Because
Doncic can't score. But he's going to get a lot of assists, and maybe Dirk puts up 25 points a game. 40-year-old season.
Dirk, man, he's still running around. So I had that wrong as well. Moving on to what are we at? 6? Okay,
yep. 6. This is where I got him switched. I had Trae Young going to Orlando, but he went to Dallas and traded. So at 6 we had Mohamed Bamba, which I thought for sure the Mavericks would take.
Me too.
But in Orlando, that's a good move by Orlando.
And see, I don't know what the Magic GMs are doing in the last couple of years because they don't really have any talent. I mean, I can honestly say that, Aaron Gordon's good, but he's restricted and
he's not developing like they want him to.
Exactly.
I think their biggest mistake was getting rid of Alfred Payton. Alfred Payton is not a great point guard. I think he's going to be average at best, but he does play good defense.
Right. Well,
but he can't score.
They drafted both him and what's the other dude's name down there? Comes off the bench. Simmons.
Yeah.
They drafted those guys feeling that they would have a good young core, just not producing. Peyton was getting replaced by some of the older vets on the team in the games mid through the season, which led to him getting traded to Phoenix.
Which for Phoenix is amazing.
Yeah, because Phoenix keeps the core, keeps it young.
Phoenix is going 3 years. Phoenix is going to be a playoff team. I'm calling it.
I could see them rising to maybe a 6th seed. I don't know. It's so hard to West. We got to do another show about that because that's such a hard discussion.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win a playoff, or they'll probably win a playoff series, but not a champion. They're not going to win a championship in 3 years, but they will be competitive in 3 years.
Right. Okay, I could see that. Moving on. Well, actually, Mo Bamba's a good pick. He's good under the block. He's got to add weight. He's got to add a couple more skill sets to his game because he's going to be running the 5.
7'10" wingspan.
Yeah, he's
officially
huge,
the
lanky.
longest player in the NBA.
So let's just hope he doesn't, because he took that over from KD, right? Isn't KD kind of the same way? So hope he doesn't turn into a snake either.
Right.
Anyways.
He would have been great for Cleveland, though. Mohamed Bamba at center would have been sick.
That would have been a rim protector for sure for us. But, so moving on to 7, I got this one right. Woo! Wendell Carter Jr. joining the Bulls. Great draft pick for them. I'm in a hating the Bulls phase right now with all the MJ comparisons. So, but I do have to be honest, it's a good pick for them. They haven't really had a good center since Noah was a little younger, and honestly, I mean, we could probably sit here and say they haven't had a decent center since the Jordan era.
Right.
You know
Dennis
what I
Rodman.
mean? Dennis
he was
Rodman.
a power forward, but
Right.
They didn't have anybody like that. They haven't had anybody like that in a while because Joakim Noah was more of the scorer when he was in his prime. So.
And I like the double aspect from Noah. Oh no, you're not going to do this.
No, we're good.
Do you like because they have Zach Levine, okay, running 2 or he can run the 1 too, and then what's the point guard's name there that they traded for?
Oh my goodness, I can't think of his name.
Oh, he's a beast too, but he was hurt last year.
Can't think. I know their power forward's Bobby Portis.
Bobby Portis, yeah. No, they got a white dude,
comes off
the
bench.
foreign dude.
Yeah. No, Miricic. They traded Miricic.
No, not the beard dude. The other young kid dude. He's real pale, 6'9".
Yeah.
Lonnie.
Something like that.
Yeah. So, here's the thing about the Bulls, man. They should never let Tibio go. Everybody hated Tibio. Tibio's not a bad coach. I mean, look at him up in Minnesota. People want to hate on him. He is hard on his players. He does wear his guards out. There's a lot of movement in his offense, a lot of running around, but...
I take him here in Cleveland over Ty Lue
every
day
too,
of the week.
Man. Me too.
If Ty Lue's going to ride LeBron James hard, I might as well have a good coach that can at least run an offense, run a defense.
And in regards to Wendell Carter, he is, obviously he's probably the 3rd best center in the draft.
Yeah.
But the top 3 centers are in the top 10. So, I mean, they're great. He's another Duke product. He paired up with Bagley at Duke on the blocks. They were ferocious. Twin Towers, almost unfair, Coach K. Mm-hmm. He got 1 year under his belt there, which, I'll be honest with you, I hate the one-and-dones. I think we would have a better basketball product if we had these kids in there 3 years, the NFL.
Yep. Yeah, I like the NCAA rule where it's 3 years and you're done. I think you can go in that way. I think the NBA would
benefit
do very
from
well
that.
for it. And I used to be on the other side. I used to think just let them come out of high school. But
and they did this year. This was the first year in a while they let someone come out of high school, and later in the draft we'll talk about that. But there was someone to get drafted. Number 8 are Cleveland Cavaliers.
I got it right. Colin Sexton from Alabama.
Now, Colin Sexton's a 6'3". He's not a combo guard. He's basically a 1. He has the length. He doesn't quite have the three-point shooting that, say, like a Kyrie would have had. But, I'm excited. He's taking over number 2. Mm-hmm. Kyrie last war. I am very excited about this pick, despite getting it wrong. I thought we were going to thought Trae Young would fall here to us. But I am actually very happy. And the fact that he said his first interview trying to convince Braun to stay, I mean, that made all the difference in the world.
The reason why this is the reason why I like this pick so much. The guy is just a gamer. The game's on the line. He wants the ball in his hands.
Right.
No, a big reason for his 3-point shooting being down. He went to Alabama. He had to shoot a lot.
Oh yeah, I watched his highlights.
He had to suck it up. So now that he comes to Cleveland, where you can have a Rodney Hood at the 2 guard who can create his own shot and score.
Right.
You have a J.R. Smith. Maybe LeBron stays. When you have Kevin Love, you have all these players who can shoot. I think you're going to have I think he might be in the running for Rookie of the Year with DeAndre Ayton. That's going to be my sleeper. That's not even being a homer pick because this guy did score 19 points a game in college.
Right.
I think his assists are going to go up because, again, the team that he played with in Alabama was garbage.
Yes.
So I think his assists are going to go up, especially with Kevin Love. I think those two in the pick and roll are just going to be – it's going to be a dynamic duo. And then I really do think he's going to be a perfect fit here in Cleveland. And even if we trade him for Kemba Walker, I'm not going to be upset because I love Kemba Walker and he's probably my second favorite point guard in the league.
Yeah.
But if we keep Colin Sexton, I'm not going to be mad either because I think this guy has a chance at being a legitimate superstar.
And I agree with you. And honestly, I think he's better than Trae Young. I think his skill set.
I think he's a lot better than Trae Young.
And I think he's more ready NBA wise as a whole, defensively, offensively.
See, and a lot of Cavs fans were ticked that we didn't take Michael Porter. And I can understand why, but Michael Porter has so many question marks with that back.
Yes.
And then did you see where he might not even play this year?
Yes.
So we could have wasted a first-round pick on a guy who doesn't play. Now, if he plays next year and is a superstar, we're going to be kicking ourselves, especially if LeBron leaves. But
yeah. That's my whole thing, too. LeBron leaves and you draft Michael Porter Jr. and he doesn't play. Right. Yeah, what happens? You're basically going to be in the bottom 5, and whoever owns our pick next year is going to get a nice lottery.
Well, remember, even though we don't have our pick because it's to Atlanta, it's a top 5 It's either top 5 or top 10 lottery protected.
Okay.
So even if we finish in that, if we finish between 1 and 10, I believe is what it is, we'll get our pick back, which is great.
Well, if we lose LeBron, we're getting the pick back.
Which still, well, yeah, which the Hawks still robbed us when we gave that pick to Kyle Korver. I mean, I love Kyle Korver, but dude, you got to hit a 3 against Golden State. You got to hit a 3 against Golden State, man. I mean, come on. He's the best 3-point shooter in not the playoffs. He's very good in the regular season and vanishes in the playoffs.
Well, he is 37, so let's give the
when
man
Ray
some
Allen
props.
was 37, he won LeBron James a title.
Can't argue with
the
you
Heat
there,
fans left.
but
But Ray Allen, in my opinion, is the best 3-point shooter of all time.
Right, and he's a Hall of Famer.
Right.
Is Kyle Korver a Hall of Famer?
I would say
Possibly.
yes, only because Basketball Hall of Fame is...
Statistic.
It's not the National Basketball Hall of Fame. It's just the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Exactly. College, NBA.
So I think for him,
everything's
he's
mixed.
going to get in, just like I think Kevin Love's going to be a Hall of Famer. In basketball, it's so much easier to get to the Hall of Fame, which obviously the Hall of Fame is, in any sport, is amazing to go into.
Well,
But out of all the sports, it's the easiest one to get into.
MLB, NFL, I would consider to be the hardest.
Oh, absolutely.
And probably hockey, too, because they are specified just for that league. You know what I mean? To where, the Basketball Hall of Fame is more open. You got college, you got high school guys getting Europe. They're all getting inducted in there into one. Moving on, though, the New York Knicks. Personally, I'm going to call this a huge reach.
I think it's a reach, too.
Oh, my goodness. Kevin Knox, small forward out of Kentucky. This guy projected to go middle of the first round. The Knicks take him. And I can see why, because honestly, I don't want to watch Michael Beasley play the 3 anymore for
Beasley's
them.
got to stay at the 4. Man.
Oh, man.
Now, Kevin Knox is talented and has a lot of upside, but he also has a lot of downside.
Absolutely. And I like his skill set. I just don't like it with the Knicks in their current roster config. Because I just don't know. He's going to get playing time, and I guess that's all that matters, and he's going to get the season a little bit, but still think it was a huge risk. I saw them taking Mikal Bridges here, but he actually falls to 10, and he gets drafted by the 76ers, which is huge
for the Sixers.
Huge, because that keeps them on pace with who I consider to be the early favorites, the Boston Celtics. Yep. And we're going to watch a lot of showdowns between these two clubs here in the East this year. If LeBron leaves, there's no doubt in my mind it's Boston, it's Philly.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, there's not even a question. At that point, any team in the East can just play for fun, I guess, because it's going to come down to those two.
Exactly. And I honestly thought Milwaukee would be tossed in that conversation had they moved up and gotten themselves maybe Miles Bridges, Jaren Jackson, Wendell Carter.
You know what I think Milwaukee's missing more than anything?
Mm-hmm.
Point guard.
I like Bledsoe.
Yeah, but he's getting older, and he's more of a scoring guard. You need a guy who can... Yeah, okay.
As he gets older, he's just got to distribute the ball more.
Yeah, he's going to be more of a passer. Middleton, I think, needs to take a big step for him because he's a big-time player. He needs to step up.
Yeah.
You have Giannis at the 3 and the 4. You need one more guy, maybe even a center. I don't know.
And, who knows? Maybe Milwaukee goes and gets a Rondo and he distributes the ball. Yeah. And then you could even have that small ball lineup of Rondo, Bledsoe, Greek Freak, Thon
Maker.
Yeah, I like him.
Thon Maker's just such a liability on offense, man.
He's just
really
there for defense. Yeah, he's just there to gobble rebounds. Yeah. So moving on, we go to Charlotte now, who bumps... no, they don't bump up. They traded, yeah.
Oh, you know what else we forgot?
Yeah.
Remember, Michael Bridges was traded to Phoenix.
That is true, yes.
So Philly doesn't even get Michael Bridges.
Right. So
now you have Michael Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, Alfred Payton, and Bender.
And you're right. And then Philly gets Zaire Smith, which I thought he was, after watching his highlight tape, hands down, I think he's the best athlete in the draft.
Oh, yeah.
But pure basketball player, he's still got some kinks in his game on offense. He's got the measurables. So there were a bunch of trades right around this area. Pretty much 10 through 16 is where some trades went down. Philadelphia, they drafted Mikal Bridges, and then they traded him to Phoenix. And in return, Phoenix traded Zaire Smith.
And a first-rounder next year. Which for Phoenix goes to show me they are very confident in this group that they drafted. And like we talked when we went to Strickland's today,
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix is going to be tough.
Yes, in the future, I totally
They
agree
have
with you.
a very good.
I expect to
core.
see you adopt them as your West team because I can't have you be a Spurs fan. All right,
Dude, I mean, like me and the Fett were talking because the Fett for every sport has an East and West team. And I don't know if I have a second favorite team in basketball. I just kind of go off like I like the Knicks just because I like New York City and I'm a Yankees fan.
Oh,
I like.
here we
Yeah,
go.
I haven't gone to see Houston, so I can't say whether I'd like the Rockets or not. But I do like Chris Paul, so there's that.
Chris Paul,
and I like
yeah.
Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady's still my favorite basketball player.
Yao
of all
Ming
time.
days, yep.
Yao Ming. So like I have core with Houston. I have been to San Antonio. I have been to Dallas. So I like the Spurs. And I like the Mavericks. I love Phoenix, Arizona as a location, so I like the Suns. So I don't really have a second favorite team out in the West, and I don't want to sound homerish, like I'm jumping on the Suns bandwagon saying that they're my second favorite team.
Oh no, yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't. Those are like the teams I like out in the West. I don't I don't follow them. I don't know anything about them really. I know the Spurs have won 5 titles, but that's because they've had the greatest coach of all time in Tim Duncan. And if I say I like the Spurs, and I say I'm a front runner, but if I like the Suns, then I'm jumping on the Suns bandwagon. So it's like a lose-lose situation.
So you need to do some research. You need to come up and you need to
Yeah.
just like I did. And unfortunately for me, it was no decision. Growing up in the Kobe Bryant era, I hate the Lakers. Period. I hate Magic. I hate Kareem. I hate all Lakers. I'm sorry. I hate Kobe Bryant. Okay.
Do you want to know why I like the Lakers? NBA 2K11.
Oh
the very first 2K game I had, I was a point guard, and I got drafted by the Lakers, and I won a championship like 3 years in a row. So
see, I can't tie my fandom into that, man. Like
I can't either. But
I'm
over
over here a Clippers fan because I hate Kobe Bryant and I hate the Lakers and how dominant they were. And I remember watching the Elton Brand and Darius Miles and Quentin Richardson for the Clippers. And yeah, they've sucked forever, but you know. I like Doc Rivers. I liked Chris Paul when he was there. I like DeAndre Jordan. I liked Blake when he was there before he got traded. I don't like Blake now he's in Detroit or that he dated one of the Kardashian sisters. Oh, my bad. Not Kardashian sister. It's a Jenner. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
So,
what's the difference?
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, moving on. So, we explained the trade to you to where Mikal Bridges goes to Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is Charlotte, which was traded
to the Clippers.
Exactly.
Which is a great player that I can believe he fell here because I got the pick right, but I'm still shocked I got the pick right. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Beast.
Yes.
Very
Offense,
lanky.
Defensive.
6'5" point guard, right?
Yep.
He's 6'5". He's
Love
a big
him.
boy. And I like him as a Clippers fan. I'm all about this pick.
The only reason why I don't like this guy is because the Cavs wanted him for a workout, and he told Cleveland, I do not want to play for you. So I'm always going to hate this guy for that reason because he didn't want to come to Cleveland. That's my city.
And he
But
would
is
go
a
to
good
my
baller.
backup team after
Right.
hating on my first team. Like,
Right.
dude.
But I do like the pick. He is as a ball player, I respect his game because he's a good ball player. But I can't
And-
like him that he doesn't like Cleveland.
Me too. And I got to hate on him for that. But he goes to the Clippers. He's instantly plugged in. You know, he's going to have DeAndre Jordan, Tobias Harris.
Does he really have DeAndre Jordan?
That is
Jordan-
true. That
he's
is
gonna
to be
opt out.
determined. Well, I mean,
Unless the Cavs can, steal him with a opt-in and trade, I'm not going to complain about having DeAndre Jordan.
I am with that salary.
I'll take him as my defensive star.
We do not need a $160 million cap to finish fifth in the
I will
East.
take him.
No way.
He will eat up the Warriors.
Well,
He will eat up Boston. He will eat up Philly.
man, we talk about this all the time. The small ball era is upon us. Unless you
insane.
have one of the top 5 bigs, and when I say top 5, I mean Boogie, AD, LaMarcus Aldridge. Who else would be in that category?
Aldridge is a 4.
Huh?
Aldridge is a 4.
Yeah, but
That's
I'm talking
also fine.
bigs. I'm talking bigs here, guys on the blocks. Because when you get to the NBA Finals and you're playing the Warriors, their 5 is Draymond Green. I mean,
you're
come
right.
on, like he's
DeAndre
6'9".
Jordan would eat him alive.
I just don't know because I've watched Draymond Green match up with him and hold his own. So
Let him run. I'd run a 2-3 zone at that point.
no, hell no, I'm not running a zone against Golden State ever because they're gonna eat that up. Anyways, so SGA gets drafted here, gets traded to the Clippers. The Clippers then they draft Miles Bridges out of Michigan State, who then gets traded to Charlotte for SGA.
Right.
I guess. I like this pick for the Hornets. By the way, side note, Hornets my number 3 team. Their logo's badass. That's the only reason I like them.
Is cool.
The purple in the teal looks cool. Plus, when Space Jam comes out, everyone's like, "Oh, I like Michael Jordan." I thought Muggsy Bogues was the crap back in the day. You know what I mean? He's like 5'3", running the point guard.
Awesome.
He's normal sized. So, anyways, back on track. They get Miles Bridges, which is great because now they're at a point with Michael Gilchrist. Is it Michael Kidd Gilchrist?
Michael K. Gilchrist.
And they have Marvin Williams. They also have Batum, who they all three kind of play the 3. But this guy, you can literally insert him immediately. And if they keep Kemba, he's going to have someone immediately that can score.
Yep.
And he comes out of that basketball factory up there. Tom Izzo at Michigan State, which, by the way, we're on pick 12. There's been 2 Michigan State guys drafted, 2 Duke guys drafted, and 2 Kentucky guys drafted. So half of these draft picks have come from 3 colleges.
Yep.
And they're all basketball factories, Duke, Kentucky, and Michigan State. As much as I hate probably Duke and Kentucky, I hate Kentucky because of Drake, and he reps them so hard. I hate Duke so much because when Maryland was in the ACC, I had to deal with the J.J. Redick years. But I don't mind Michigan State. I guess I don't like them now because they're in the Big Ten with Maryland and Penn State. And I know you don't really care for anything up north that starts with an M.
No. But if I had to pick one, I like Michigan State more than I like Michigan.
I could see that too. I don't mind Sparty when it comes to the 2.
Because it's the little brother.
Well, it depends on what sport,
Yeah, in basketball, they're much better.
Much better, yeah. So, Miles Bridges, great pick for them.
Yep.
Clippers come back again up. They take Jerome Robinson out of Boston College. Huge reach right here. I'm not happy with this pick. You had Troy Brown Jr., you had Dante DiVincenzo, you had Lonnie Walker still available.
Zaire Smith was still there.
Zaire Smith. Even Grayson Allen I would have taken over this
I think at this point, Michael Porter Jr. would have been worth the risk there, too.
Exactly, because even if, like we were talking about, he's out a year, boom, you rest him a year. And if the Clippers are going to stink again, might as well take your top 10 pick next year and roll the dice again. Jerome Robinson comes in. Not a big fan. Let me see here real quick. Let me catch up. So you had number 5, Kevin Cox was your 5th guy. You had your number 11 pick was correct.
And
then
I'm starting to fall off from there.
Yep.
That's all right. It is what it is.
So, not bad.
No.
Not bad at all.
And this is kind of where, in my opinion, the NBA draft can go so many different directions because there's so many different team needs.
Yes.
Now, the first 5 are normally pretty easy.
Right.
So, in my opinion, it was just a matter of which team was going where. But then after that, it's a total mop. It's a toss-up. You never know where anybody's going to go.
Exactly, which is exactly what happens here at 14 with Michael Porter Jr. going to the Nuggets. Nuggets needed him to fall here, though. They needed that gamble.
They did.
This helps them, even if he doesn't come back this year and he comes back next year.
Yep.
Basically, the Nuggets are they almost made the playoffs. They were the 9th seed in the West. They had a winning record. I think they were a game behind. Was it OKC? That was the 8th seed. That helps them a lot. Which, side note, OKC not having a first-round pick, that hurts.
That hurts them.
That hurts them cap-wise and roster-wise. But Michael Porter Jr., let's say he's healthy, he comes back, error-free from this injury. It's a steal at 14 for his skill set, his upside, but the back is a big question mark here. Not really worth the gamble, in my opinion.
Not for where the Cavs were, but I think anything past 10, I think at that point, because in my opinion, I think this was a 8, 9, 10 player draft, including Michael Porter. Then after that, are all kind of ifs, and they're going to need a lot of coaching.
Yes.
So I think at this point in the draft, I think this was huge. I think this could very well be the best pick in the draft if he's 100% healthy and that back doesn't hurt.
And he returns. Right. I agree with you. So 15 rolls around. The Wizards take Troy Brown Jr., who I viewed more as a 2 more than a 3. They have him listed as a 3. He's out of Oregon.
He's just gonna be he's gonna be a backup guy because their 3 is Otto Porter.
Yeah.
So he's just
and
the Wizards made it.
They got another guy, Kelly. Starts with a O. They just drafted him last year, and he played a lot of minutes this year.
He's gonna be like Bradley Beal back up, and
right.
He's just more depth. like I said, like in this draft, after about 10 players, it's all depth from here. Like, after this, probably no player after the top 10 are going to start.
Correct. I agree with you there. I can definitely
Because even
agree.
when we get to pick 18, who the Spurs picked, you're still going to have Danny Green start at the 2 guard.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So that leads us to 16. Zaire Smith gets drafted by the Phoenix Suns. He's traded to Philadelphia.
Yep.
We've already kind of hit on him.
Mm-hmm.
Great athlete. Still needs to develop a little bit more skill set.
Yep.
And then here is probably the most head-scratching pick for me.
Dante DiVincenzo.
Yes, at 17 for the Bucks, because you have Delly, you have the Greek Freak, you have Bledsoe. Unless they plan on moving the Greek Freak to the 3 to put this guy into the starting lineup, his outside shooting is huge. But they still could have gone big here.
I think he's still going to go because Greek Freak plays the 3 and the 4. And you have Chris Middleton running the 2, and he's a big 2 at 6'8".
And let's not forget about Jabari Parker, who's
Jabari
restricted.
Parker runs the 4. Yeah, so they have. I think he's a guy who's going to come off the bench and just hit threes. So let's hope if the Greek Freak can get him open, he's going to have a solid rookie season.
Which I see that happening. It's just I still think they're a coach away. I mean, they can have Tyronn Lue if they wanted. But...
Yeah, they can have Ty Lue any day of the week. Yeah, the Bucks don't have a coach, which is still better than our coach, which is sad.
Right, and then 18, Lonnie Walker. Finally, I've been waiting for this dude's name to get called. This is a good pick for them. They needed a talented scoring type of guy, slasher, to replace Kawhi Leonard at the 2. Basically, I just don't know. I hope he's coachable. I hope he fits into Pop's offense, and I don't like that. I believe he signed with Puma, I read. Which
there's a lot of young guys signed with Puma this year.
You know who's running that? Jay-Z, yeah.
Which is going to fail miserably.
I agree. Their shoes are hideous.
Yeah, you're right. Those Puma shoes are terrible. I don't know why anybody would even want to wear those in anything. You have Nike, Jordan, Under Armour's even coming up. I don't even want to talk about Adidas, but Adidas is better than Puma.
Yeah, for
Puma's garbage, man.
And it reminds me of, do you remember when Dwayne Wade switched from, was it Jordan? And he went off to his own shoe brand or whatever.
Yeah.
Just
failed.
Oh, man.
Dude,
ugly.
I would still rather today wear Starburys than Pumas.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Or Shaq's.
Right,
Even
Shaq's. Do you remember when he came out with that slot machine shoe at the All-Star?
Yeah.
Still my favorite shoe to this day. I don't own a pair, but those shoes are awesome.
And they're gone, man. Like, they're
gone.
relics now.
Yeah, they're cool.
And we forgot about Reebok, too, which is somehow still relevant. I
don't know how Reebok's still there, man.
All they have is Allen Iverson. I mean, that's the only good-looking shoe I feel like they've ever made, so... But anyways, enough of the shoe game.
That's where Lonnie Walker messed up right there. He's already off to a bad start.
So he goes there. He's probably going to replace Kawhi Leonard.
If Kawhi Leonard leaves. And I'm still under the assumption San Antonio doesn't trade him and Pop gets that relationship fixed. Because as much as I would love to see him here in Cleveland, it's a huge risk. And if he comes to Cleveland, I still think he's going to go to L.A. But if he stays in San Antonio all year long, remember, the last time they had a star that was upset was last year, LaMarcus Aldridge. What happened? LaMarcus Aldridge, they worked it out. Not only that, LaMarcus Aldridge had a career year last year.
You're right.
So, and he signed a long-term contract. So, I think Kawhi's going to stay in San Antonio, and I think Pop's going to fix it.
Okay. Well, I could see that. That's definitely a possibility. And Lonnie Walker, you're probably right. He probably won't start either. He might still come off the bench behind Danny Green.
Danny Green.
So.
Yep. So it's a good fit.
Yeah, I got it.
It's
and for him to fall 2 to 18.
Oh yeah, he'll be perfect for them. It'll be like Manu Ginobili 2.0. He'll come off a screen and start banging threes.
Right. I definitely see that. So number 19, my boy, Red Mamba, baby. I didn't want him to declare, but he did.
How do you feel about him going to Atlanta?
I just, dude, like we talked about at Strickland's, I see him like a Kyle Korver almost, like high percentage 3-point shooter and free throws, but besides that, does he really have any other aspects to his game besides a wide open 3 and a spot up jumper? Like,
I personally don't think so, but if Trae Young pans out,
Oh,
they're going to be raining threes for days.
Amen to that, which I guess, I don't know, the analytics taking over the game has almost ruined, like, it all boils down to stats, play styles, schemes, and if they can develop a chemistry between him, like you said, and Trae Young, that could turn them around because they already have Collins on the block, and then they have, what's the swing they got out there?
Bazemore?
Yeah, Kent Bazemore, and then they
I like Bazemore a lot.
They got like the 6'9" wing I can't think of right now. Oh man, they drafted him last year. But overall, I do think Atlanta, they're starting the rebuild off right with having 3 draft picks. It's easy, you know what I mean? It's almost like the Cleveland Browns factor, where the more picks you have, the better chance at rebuild you have.
Absolutely.
So, but let's just hope they don't go 0-82 this year to do that again.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I seriously, I like his height. I think he's a little lean, but I think he's just like Kyle Korver, man. Yeah. I watched him get blown by at Maryland by lesser players, and it's good for the school. It's good for him. I just didn't want to see him declare this early. I think he could have used 2 more years, just like Melo Trimble last year. He could have used another year in college just to develop more of his game. But it's an interesting pick. It's kind of a reach because I had him going second round, but we'll have to see how it pans out.
Yeah, I had him going in the first round, but I had him fall. I did not have him going in the teens. He was in the late 20s.
Yep, I think you had him going to.
I believe San Antonio.
I think you did.
I think I had him going to San Antonio,
which would have been 18.
I would have been so ticked if they would have got another shooter. I'm glad that he didn't go there. But going on from number 19, with the 20th pick in the 2018 NBA draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves take Josh Okogie. Or Okagi. I don't know. Okagi.
Georgia Tech.
Okagi, yeah. 6'4" shooting guard. I don't know. Again, I think Minnesota was just too young last year, and we're still building team chemistry. They don't really have a whole lot of holes. Jeff Teague may not be the best point guard, but I don't think it's a stretch to say he's a top 15 point guard.
Yep, I was going to say same thing, top 15
You have Jimmy Butler there at the 2 and Andrew Wiggins at the 3. You have Jang at the 4 and Cat at the 5. So do you really maybe Jang should be or would be better off as a backup role, but do they really have sure they can upgrade, but they don't really have any holes, maybe depth. So I think for depth purposes this is actually a pretty solid pick.
I'm on board with you there. I wasn't really thrilled with this guy. Some of his highlights and stuff, Georgia Tech, they didn't produce, you know what I mean? Right. It wasn't like you heard a lot of noise about him. He was more, his pro day and his scout combine was actually what really threw his stock up. But, he's a solid 2, he's 6'4", so he's a little smaller, but, we're have to see. Like you said, there's not a lot of depth here with Jimmy Butler, Jeff Teague. I expected them to go post. Yeah. And I have them taking your boy out of Ohio State because I thought, all right, they need a stretch 3, maybe a 4. And
Kid Bates D-Up with Minnesota would have been sick.
Well, he's still in Minnesota. He got drafted by him in the second round.
Oh, my gosh.
So, but I had him going in the first. So, it is what it is. But 21, let's talk about maybe the most hated Duke player since J.J. Redick.
The dirtiest player coming out of college.
Grayson Allen. What a bum. I can't stand this dude.
Yeah, I don't like him either.
I will say he did mature in the last year. There were a lot less tripping highlights, dirty plays, but I mean...
Yeah, I think somebody got into his ear and said, hey, if you want to get drafted relatively high, you might want to cut out the shenanigans.
And maybe it was Coach K. Maybe, right. Coach K... With all the players that have played under that man, I mean, he is him, Tom Izzo, Bill Self, I mean, just Roy Williams. I mean, the list of coaches in college that have produced talent, NBA-level talent, somebody had to have gotten in his ear.
Yeah, somebody had to talk to him.
But I don't really like this pick for the Jazz because they have him listed as a 6'5" shooting guard. You got Spider playing there. So, and you got Rubio playing the 1. So, I mean, I guess it's not bad if he could maybe play the 3 because Jay Crowder is no threat to score ever. and we know that as Cavs fans.
Yeah.
But a spark off the bench, maybe a high energy guy I could see, but I think there still needs to be some maturing and fine tuning here with this guy.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of that 3-point shooter that came out, and I want to say it's Doug McDermott, but I don't think it's him. The guy who came out of college.
Creighton.
Yeah,
That's Doug McDermott.
Broke,
nice call.
He broke the 3-point record and everything, and then he's done nothing. So Grayson Allen kind of reminds me of this, which is why I had him falling to the Lakers, because I thought Mr. Hollywood would go well with Hollywood. But Jazz take him here and pair him with former enemy, now teammate.
Yep.
Over there with Donovan Mitchell. So I just don't like Grayson Allen as a player. I don't think he brings a lot to the table. I think he's overhyped. So to me, I think this is a bad pick by Utah. But then again, that may be me being biased because I just don't like Grayson Allen and I just don't like his game. So me personally, not so much a fan of this pick.
Okay. Yep, and I'm on board with this too. Moving on, 22. My third pick of the draft that was correct. I picked Chandler Hutchinson, so I got both Bulls picks right. This is a swing guy. He's a mid-major guy coming out of Boise State. Bulls fans, rejoice. You got another wing.
Another one.
I'm just pumped I got both their picks right. And I dislike them, so it's kind of a surprise for me. But I do think they did their justice here. I don't think after taking Wendell Carter Jr. they needed another big. I think they needed somebody on the wing to help Zach LaVine out. They got Bobby Portis, like you said, who's going to be on the block. Oh, man, I really wish I could remember the guard's name we keep forgetting for them. But solid pick for Chicago here. I didn't really see that much out of Chandler Hutchinson. I mean, he's got good size, good measurables, but
But remember, it is the later rounds of the first round in every NBA draft. Later rounds are always what ifs. They're basically second round picks at that point. So, like I said, in this draft, which was a deep draft, which is sad considering a deep draft is 12 players. And after that, you never know.
Well, part of the problem is the NBA draft is 2 rounds, and they don't actually. How do I want to say this? I think they need to extend it to 4 because I think, with the rosters at 15, the problem with the NBA is you have 5 guys on the floor, you have a rotation of, 4 to 5 guys off the bench, and then you have your undeveloped guys. Bench guys 10 through 15 on the active roster really could be down in the D League developing. But the problem is the league has such a heavy presence for veterans that they make sure their veterans are taken care of in the NBA to where you watch the NFL with a high turnover rate they have, rookies and undrafted guys. Same thing in baseball. That fill those slots really easily.
Well, even in baseball, they go down to the minor leagues towards the end of their career.
Exactly.
Or really just kind of take lower-end deals and stay till the 40-man roster. Just for a veteran presence. So.
And for the Bulls, we're thinking of Chris Dunn at the 1. And we're also thinking of this dude.
Power forward.
Yeah.
Lauri Markkanen.
Yes. So he was first-team All-Rookie, and with him being they have him listed at 7 foot. I think he's more like 6'9", 6'10". But now Wendell Carter Jr. will probably get plugged in. I bet you they cut Robin Lopez or try to trade him.
Depending what his contract is, for sure.
Right. And, I mean, like I said, that's another solid pick for them. I don't know. I think the Bulls are staying in the basement. I think they're going to need another 2 years. They're still 1 or 2 guys away.
Yeah, I like Zach LaVine, but I don't think he's a star player. I think he's more of a little bit above average, above a role player. The fact that he's making $23 million, I think he got that because he won the dunk contest personally. But I do like Zach LaVine. I mean, he's a good ball player, but I don't think he's a star who can lead a team to a championship.
Absolutely agree with you, man. Let's move on to the Pacers. This was a surprise for me.
One of my favorite point guards in the draft. I'm actually surprised he fell this far. Point guard Aaron Holiday from UCLA.
And see, this is where I had Atlanta drafting a big and a wing first, and then coming back here, and I thought they would have snagged him at 19, but he falls here to the Pacers, and they're running with Victor Oladipo.
Mm-hmm.
They have their bigs. I really do like the fact that one of the things about the Pacers is they're pretty unselfish. The whole team overall.
obviously, like we were saying, Victor Oladipo is their main player, but they have Collinson, they have Bogdanovich,
Yep.
and Turner on the block is a beast.
Mm-hmm.
But Corey Joseph coming off the bench, he used to play up in Toronto. I think you remember him.
Darren Collison's our starting guard. I love that guy.
And Lance Stevenson's future's up in the air, just like Thaddeus Young. But this is a good pluck for them. Mm-hmm. It immediately adds a guard off the table. Aaron Holiday, to me, was better than Lonzo Ball.
Oh, absolutely.
At UCLA.
Yep.
And people, oh, no. And I'm like, yeah, he's got a 6'7" wingspan. Like, what more do you want from him?
And he can actually score. He can actually shoot where Lonzo Ball couldn't.
Yes.
I mean, this guy, put it this way. The Pacers got some guy, 23, the pick 23, that averaged 20 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds as a junior. That's another reason why I like this guy. As a freshman, he averaged 10.3 points and 4 assists a game. And then he waited, groomed him a couple years. Mm-hmm. Now he's averaging 20 points a game. And to be honest with you, I don't know how he got snubbed. He probably got snubbed because he was Lonzo's backup for a year.
True.
Yeah. I think this was a steal for Indiana.
And I think so,
and it's going to haunt our division for years.
Well, like I said, man, the real thing in our division is, let's go over the Central Division, as we have the Bulls, Cavs, Pistons, Pacers, Bucks. That is a slugfest. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Atlantic has Philly and Boston, but besides, the Bulls and the Pistons in the rebuild and the Cavs stuck in the middle, it's the Pacers and Bucks division to take, really. It all depends on LeBron James.
Yep, that's right.
So, moving on, we go to 24. I had this as a surprise, too, as this is one of the high school kids coming out of IMG Academy. I think it's a little bit of a reach. I didn't really think Portland needed a 2, or even if you can play the 1, a combo guard.
CJ McCollum might be on the way out.
Yeah,
if that's the case, Cleveland, pick up the phone because he's a stud.
Please, we could use that instant offense, regardless of his contract.
I think CJ McCollum is arguably on Paul George's level.
Really?
I think he's that good. I like CJ McCollum that much.
Totally underrated.
Yes.
I agree. And part of the problem is Dame gets all the love in Portland, which, he should, but...
Right. But CJ McCollum, I think, plays a lot better defense than Lillard.
Yes.
And then if he could come home where he's from, I think that would just boost him exponentially. I mean, look at Larry Nance. He was a solid role player for the Lakers. Came to Cleveland, he was still a role player, but his whole energy was so much different.
Yes.
He seemed more relaxed, more comfortable at home. I think if you put CJ McCollum in the queue, oh my gosh, with his family there and his fan base, I mean, this city we love our own players.
We do.
And he would get nothing but love here if CJ McCollum could come to Cleveland. I think that would be huge. And what would be great for Cleveland, after this year with all the guaranteed contracts basically falling off, I don't know what CJ McCollum's contract's like, but we can sign a max player next year.
True, I could see that.
If LeBron left, because Kevin Love's contract would be off, even if LeBron opted in this year, and became an unrestricted next year, that's $60 or $50 million coming off. J.R. Smith and George Hill's contracts are only worth $5 million, so that's another $35 million coming off. You can sign C.J. McCollum, another player, re-sign Kevin Love, re-sign LeBron, and you have 4 stars. So as much as we're in salary cap turmoil right now,
purgatory,
we very well could come out of this.
We could
looking amazing.
It all depends on Mr. Kobe because he's
got to pull the magic strings.
He does.
Could you imagine? All right, put it this way. So Kemba Walker's a free agent after this year.
Yeah.
What if we don't trade for him? We don't. Maybe we struggle this year. Maybe we get to the finals and LeBron loses again, and the media goes, "Oh, he's 3-7 now," facing arguably the greatest team of all time.
Yep.
Okay. Kevin Love doesn't resign right away. LeBron would have opted in this year. He's a free agent, so that his money's off the books. They cut JR. They cut George Hill. Again, I don't know C.J. McCollum's contract, but let's say C.J. McCollum's a free agent this year. I'll look it up here in a minute.
Okay.
You could sign Kemba Walker. You could sign C.J. McCollum. You then could re-sign Kevin and LeBron, and you're still good. And then your starting 5 could be Kemba Walker with Colin Sexton coming off the bench. The 2 guard could be Rodney Hood coming off the bench with C.J. McCollum, and Jordan Clarkson could be your 3 guard either way.
Ooh.
You could have LeBron and then whoever the heck you sign, because I don't care at that point. your power forward is Kevin Love, and doesn't matter who your center is. You
Not
can either
really
run
in the
Tristan.
small ball.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
can
can
run
keep
Tristan and Larry Nance. Dude, your team is sick at that point. That team is unbelievable.
And I agree with you. That would be some nastiness if we could
so-
fire everything like that.
That would
but-
be a dream scenario. But so going back to Infernie Simmons, I think he's a reach too.
Yeah. And I had him falling one more to the Lakers. But like I said, the kid's young. He's 18. He's only played high school talent. I mean,
He's got a lot of work to do, but a lot of room to grow.
a lot of room to grow. It just depends on what they do with it. He starts off in the D League for 2 years and then comes up and blows up, and everyone loves him. Yeah, they did their due diligence. But, like you said, when you're picking these late round draft picks like they are, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They have room to grow. They have time to sit behind people. Just not a fan of taking, in the first year of high school players being able to come out again. I'm just not a fan of this pick.
I don't like it.
I think they needed another big, and I think they could have used the guy the Lakers took at 25.
Moritz Wagner.
Out of the hated Michigan.
Out of Michigan.
And, this is solid for them on the post, but it almost set the tone for them not to sign a big in the offseason.
Right.
I thought the Lakers, with all that cap space, could have been in the running to throw money at Boogie Cousins, to try to trade for AD, for try to, who knows, maybe even get somebody like a Clint Capella off Houston and try to send like a Brandon Ingram or someone. But
we're taking a quick pause because I'm a little disappointed. Looking up, CJ McCollum's contract is till 2021.
And the price tag on it.
Yeah, it goes up to almost $30 million.
Which, he's good. I don't know if he's $30 million good. I mean,
I'd take him in a minute.
It just all depends on Braun. And here, like I said, I had the Lakers taking Simmons here. But the Lakers now, let's say Wagner starts. Then you got Brandon Ingram. Kyle Kuzma's a beast.
Kuzma is good.
And you have Lonzo. So that's your
and
young core.
And Brook Lopez probably won't be back now.
Yeah, Brook
so
Lopez.
Probably run with this guy.
So that leaves both Lopez brothers, all right, looking at the outside because there were young centers drafted to replace them.
Yep.
But
the only problem with this guy is we're looking at his draft profile here is he just lacks quickness defensively. So he has a lot of hustle, but he's a little slow. So in the pick and roll game, he's going to get hurt a lot.
Which would remind me of a Steven Adams type.
Yeah.
So Steven Adams, beast, thick, but slow.
Right, for sure.
So the next pick is going to belong to Philadelphia.
Taking Landry Shamet, I believe, or Shamet.
6'5" point guard out of Wichita State. Another guy who a lot of people didn't have going in the first round. He is a little bit of an unknown due to playing at Wichita State.
Right. But you know what Wichita State can produce? Shooters.
Yeah.
That's how they beat people in college, shooters. And that's also why they don't go very far in the tournament, because the shooting always ends.
Right. And, I mean, don't get me wrong, shooting's great and everything, but when you run into talent of Duke, Kentucky, UCLA, the big boys, where, you're forced to play their style of ball, it doesn't work.
Doesn't happen.
So it's a great gimmick style offense for that, what is it? What are they, in the AAC?
Yeah.
And before they were in the conference with Crichton Evanson and Butler before they all got merged into, the AAC. So, like I said, this is a little bit of a stretch here for Philly. I mean, I'm happy they went guard and they got another depth guy, but there's, they could have got Robert Williams, and they could have had Jacob Evans, who we're going to talk about here in a minute too, who is a solid defensive guy. And then you have Boston coming up next at 27.
27.
Which, for them, they're picking late here, and they have one pick.
Yeah, and they got a good one.
Yes, and Robert Williams fell like a rock. I had him going to the Clippers early. One of the better centers in the draft, just oversized due to being a couple inches shorter than the top three guys. He played in the Big 12 out of Texas A&M. They didn't make a lot of noise, so you didn't really hear much about him. This is another guy, his scouting combine, his draft day, his pro day, basically led to his stock rise. Is it writing on the wall for Horford to be moved? Possibly.
Could be.
Possibly. But we'll have to see. I like the pick here by Boston. They have a bunch of first-round picks in the next couple years, so they didn't feel pressure to go grab any certain player.
Yep.
They got probably who they wanted.
And unfortunately, as much as it's going to pain me to say it, look out for Kawhi Leonard traded to Boston.
Sketchy.
I'm calling it right now. Boston trades Kyrie Irving and 2 first-rounders for Kawhi Leonard.
Wow.
If Kawhi gets moved, and like I said, I think he's going to go to San Antonio or stay in San Antonio. But if he gets traded anywhere, Boston has the most assets, and they're worried Kyrie Irving is going to go to New York. And if San Antonio thinks they're going to lose Kawhi Leonard anyway, why not ship him to Boston for his last year and take those 2 extra first-round picks, and you're able to reload that fast again?
But see, at that point, man, Kyrie's been traded by 2 franchises in, 3 years? Then it starts to be, for me, I love Kyrie, but he does have a character issue because he does not commit to the team.
Right.
It is about Kyrie Irving, and a lot of these guys these days are doing
That's
that.
it.
It's not like the old day where you played your whole career with one team. It's very rarely that you see a Dirk Nowitzki who plays, or Kobe Bryant, who basically play their whole career for one team.
And see, I can see both sides. I'm okay with super teams in a way, right? I mean, obviously it stinks when it's not your team.
Yeah.
But at least at that point, they're coming together to be a team. I don't like this current NBA where players are getting drafted and it's all about style. It's all about how they get their name in the lights. That's what basketball is turning to, and that's what I'm not liking. I very much like that's why I like the Spurs a lot too. Not only because I love the city of San Antonio, but I like that Popovich has always kept that style of ball. As great of a player as Kawhi Leonard is, other than this year, you haven't heard his name in the media. He's a very underrated player, even though people consider him a top 5 player.
Mm-hmm.
You still have, in your mind, when you think of Kawhi Leonard, at least I do, have him a ways behind Kevin Durant as a number 3 player. Maybe that's just me. But
is that due to his injuries and lack of being on the court lately?
Right,
Because there was a time where when the Spurs were clicking, man, I would argue with you the other way. 2 years ago, I'm telling you, when Kevin Durant's in OKC, I'm saying Leonard's better. Now that he's the last 2 years, he went to Golden State.
True.
You know what I mean? The Golden State factor is just unfair at this point. You joined perhaps one of the most dominant teams of NBA history, and what have you done? You've done...
But you know what? As much as I hate them, they work together as a team to win. Now, any one single player can go off, but they work well as a team. And now they may have problems, but they put their problems aside to win championships. And as much as I despise the Golden State Warriors, I give them mad respect on making sure that all 4 of those players keep their egos in check to work as a team. The question is,
how long will it last?
Yes, because Klay Thompson's a free agent next year.
And honestly, he's the weakest piece of the puzzle.
I think Draymond Green's the weakest piece.
And see, but it depends on what aspect you talk about. Because Draymond's defense, to me, outweighs Klay's threes. Because we saw Klay go ice cold, and all Kevin Durant did was pack everybody up in the backpack, and he was unstoppable. It's really hard because you're watching, Steph Curry, he's getting to be 30?
I think he's like 27.
Okay, so he has a couple more years, but,
he got drafted with Kawhi Leonard, I think.
Yeah, I think he got drafted in 2009.
Yeah.
So
he's getting up there.
Yeah, so let me just pull that up.
So while he's pulling it up, the Robert Williams pick was a great pick for Boston with a steal. And at pick number 28, the hated Golden State Warriors take Jacob Evans.
Yep.
Again, another steal. I don't know how this guy falls to Golden State, and they get
Fits
another
perfectly
player.
like a glove.
Goodness. He's not going to score a lot of points for him, but when you have 4 All-Stars, you don't need to score a lot of points. You need to slow down somebody else so that way they can just continue to score. And just to be another guy to pass the rock.
Totally agree with you.
It's just ridiculous.
By the way, I was right. Curry is 30 years old. Clay's 28, KD's 29, Draymond's 28, and McGee is 30. I look for them to lose Iggy, maybe Sean Livingston due to the age. They're going to keep Quinn Cook. Nick Young's 33. It's time for him to go. Definitely David West.
But David West is definitely gone.
And Zaza.
And I'm just going to say this now. Swaggy P's career is over.
Oh, yeah.
For that cocaine comment, done.
Well,
There's nobody in the league that's going to put up with that nonsense thinking cocaine needs to be legal.
I agree with you from that aspect, but he's never really been the dude to shy away from being controversial. From cheating on the pop singer to what's his face from the Nets selling him out that he was cheating.
Right.
I mean, the dude's been a head case his whole career.
Yeah, but
honestly,
never was
I don't
he
think
put
he's
in the forefront like that.
Well,
During
the
your
Lakers
championship
tried.
parade.
They tried, and he fizzled out. So, and then in free agency, he goes and signs with Golden State, takes less money to get a ring, which ain't nothing wrong with that.
No,
you want to get a ring, you want to be an
go for
NBA
it.
champ, go for it. But you're not an essential piece, bud. And for somebody like that out of the NBA to want something like that legalized, I mean, if a baseball player says, I want steroids legalized, I can understand it because it's a performance-enhancing drug for his occupation. Cocaine is not an occupation enhancer.
It's a hazard to your life.
Yes,
like, come on.
You're trying to have a heart attack at this point if you're dabbling in that. So
that was, I believe Jacob Evans will swaggy piece replacement.
I think so.
Personally,
perhaps, yeah. In which it's not bad because you get an upgrade on defense.
Right.
You're gonna have somebody that can plug right in and give
probably
KD
an upgrade on offense because Swaggy P was terrible last year.
Right, he only shoots threes. He's terrible off the dribble.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what happens with Golden State. It'll be interesting how long they can keep the pieces going. I believe they're going to end up keeping Livingston maybe another year, but they lose Iggy and Zaza, which opens up 2 roster spaces. In free agency, man, I would be very, very nervous.
Greg Monroe, what if he takes a
What happens if
contract?
they get Dwight Howard? That's scary.
Oh, my God.
That is scary. Dwight
That's my
Howard.
worst nightmare, man.
Oh, man.
Because then you can't beat them. Then they have... That's their one weakness is they don't have anybody in the paint.
In post, yeah.
And if they get Dwight Howard, it's over. It's over.
I totally
They
agree.
win again. It's done. You don't need a bench at that point.
Well, I'm going to go out and say it. They're probably going to win again next year. And this is bearing free agency, all right? If free agency goes by and it's real quiet and a lot of guys settle for, big money and join losing teams from the money factor, yeah, Golden State is going to repeat. But if we have an atomic type of free agency where Cavs are able to reload, Houston goes and snags somebody like Tyreek Evans, because that's my dark horse, is Houston getting Evans. Because
sweet.
they need a wing. They need a guy to play the 3 or the 4. Not Ryan Evans. I like Eric Gordon, but you saw the downfall of the Rockets in Game 7 with him running the show.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Jacob Evans is the future. Watch out for free agency. Houston is going to make... Golden State still has the potential to make a move or two, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving on. 29, the Nets, surprisingly making this... I believe this is Boston's pick. Because Boston picked with our pick, and then the Nets picked with Boston's pick, and then we picked with Brooklyn's pick. Mm-hmm. So they got the short end of the stick here. But they did go out and they get a small forward out of Croatia.
Zanin Musa.
Which I had going to Greg Pop down in San Antonio. I thought he fits the international talent pool that Pop likes to do. Mm-hmm. But he has a lot of good factors on his side.
Good scorer.
34, 8, and 3 at the under 17, so he's young. I just, this is probably another high school 18-year-old kid, which means, my problem with some of the foreign players coming to the league, there's nobody, I believe, unless you're an adult, and when I say adult, I mean 21 or older, that you can just come in and plug in. These 18-year-old kids, don't get me wrong, Strap came in for the Knicks, and he's produced, but he's hurt.
19 years old. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. It is crazy. We're back to this in the NBA, which I guess we can't really complain watching LeBron come in at 18. I watched More Than a Game, the documentary on St. V's over the weekend, and the fact that they were able to win 3 titles and lose probably maybe 3 games their whole high school career at St. V's.
Ridiculous.
And to go through, the animosity Brown had to go through at St. V's with the Hummer incident. Like, I remember being in high school when that was all going down, middle school. And it's just amazing
I mean, we're talking about their whole schedule. Their senior year was national. They were flying to Cali, Philly, Carolina, Florida, playing top 25 talent. You don't hear that anymore.
No, especially not from a little school in Akron, Ohio.
That's right. The Fighting Irish. So,
yeah, good. I think this is a good pick by Brooklyn, though. I mean, it's another foundational piece.
Yes.
You have D'Angelo Russell over there running the point. It's not. You really don't have too many more better point guards than D'Angelo Russell. I mean, he's not great, and he's an expendable piece, but he can score. So you have D'Angelo Russell over there bringing another scorer here at small forward. With Brooklyn, you're still the worst team in the league, and you still got to put pieces together.
You still got Jeremy Lin.
I think they do still have Jeremy Lin.
Oh, man.
So they just need a lot of help.
And Hollis Jefferson, and now Dwight Howard.
You know, they also have Spencer Dinwiddie. He was a good ball player.
Spencer Dinwiddie was good,
year,
yeah.
so.
He was fantasy-wise,
So
too.
they have a lot of holes that they got to fill.
Yep. And the last pick, with pick 30 overall, the Hawks have one more chance, and they get a Villanova guy. He plays the 4, Omar Spellman. Kind of flew under the radar. Decent dude. He was part of that Nova national title team.
Yep.
He's lanky. He's got a 7'2" wingspan. He's big body frame at 254. Decent three-point shooter. It says 43%.
Can't complain about that.
Yeah, 10-8. That's decent numbers.
Yeah. He's going to be just another foundational piece for him. You got Trae Young, and you got the other shooter that they took. I mean, it just gives them a big body to bang down low who can go out and hit the three every once in a while. So,
and Atlanta's making the move to where they're freeing cap space up by signing young talent like this.
Yep.
To where, who knows, maybe Atlanta's the next destination for 2 stars, and they, maybe they're next Golden State. They got their 3 pieces. But we'll have to see how that plays out. That's the end of the first round. As SkiveWalker beats me, I believe the final count was 7-3.
Yeah, something close to that.
It was nuts. Now we're gonna.
Yeah, before we get out of here, because we've already been going for over an hour. We're not gonna break down the entire second round because that'll be a whole nother hour. So let's just. What kind of sleeper do you see going on? And the first one that I'm looking at is number 42, Bruce Brown, going to Detroit.
Yes.
He very easily, in my opinion, could have been a first-round pick.
Yep, I actually had him going in the first round. I like his game. Paired with Lonnie Walker, he was lethal. I think Detroit, for not having a first-round pick, got a steal here that Bruce Brown fell. Wow. Oh, man. Philly had 2 right there. Who else?
Javion Carter, I don't think is too bad for Memphis. They're at 32.
Yeah.
I think he's a good bench player for Mike Conley for when Conley gets hurt again.
Right. I like Melvin Frazier. He's a small school guy going to Orlando. I would have liked to have seen him end up in New Orleans, close to home. This Kyrie Thomas, all right, he was traded to the Pistons. All right, that's another solid sharpshooter right there out of Crichton. 3-point specialist, good steal. Justin Jackson, my boy, I got to mention him.
He's a good ball player.
Maryland, he's athletic. His numbers were down last year. He's a stretch 3, can play the 4 for you. He got traded to the Magic from Denver. I would have liked to have seen him in Denver for more playing time. Your boy right there,
Keita
Bates Diop.
Again, I thought he was going to the Pacers, but him going to Minnesota, oh my gosh. I cannot believe they got him. He might win 6th Man of the Year.
I hope he does.
That would be awesome.
We need some Big Ten guys like we talked about. The Big Ten is a little bit overrated when it comes to basketball, and they're underrated in football because the SEC keeps throwing their trash all over us.
I'm just saying this. The reason why the Big Ten is promoted in basketball and the SEC is promoted so much in football, ESPN friendships. SEC Network is powered by what? ESPN. The Big Ten had the chance to pair with ESPN and they declined it, so that way they can have their own station and be separate of ESPN. But Big Ten basketball and ESPN are good friends, so there's a reason why they get promoted and then ultimately get embarrassed when it comes to tournament time.
Absolutely. I will say this: Tony Carr out of Penn State. I paid close attention to them because they are probably my second Big Ten team when it comes to hoops. They're my number 1 in football. But Tony Carr, Penn State had a miracle run where Ohio State won the conference, but their 3 losses were all to Penn State. Okay, Tony Carr is an instant plug-in for the Pelicans where they don't have to sign Rondo. You can almost let him walk. because this is the same type of player at 6'4", 199. That's lanky for a point guard. I mean, he's not Ben Simmons at 6'9",
Right.
running the one, but it gives them another versatile guard to pair with Holiday. Also here, I want to side note, OKC had 2 picks late in the second round where they got Devin Hall out of Virginia. That's a solid 2-guard right there. They also go get Kevin Harvey, a small forward out of UT Arlington. Kind of unknown, mid-major guy, put up decent numbers. Those 2 guys, I think it's interesting that OKC went with a 2 and a 3, the kind of play behind
Paul George and Carmelo Anthony.
Exactly, yes. And it's easy on the books, on the cat. The Cavaliers did not have a second-round pick. Neither did Boston, Chicago. But the last pick of the draft was the Greek Freak's little brother.
That's what I thought. Kostas
Yeah.
Antetokounmpo.
He was ineligible at Dayton for the Flyers. Then he comes in as a redshirted Frosh to make up. He's he basically is the same body type as his brother. He didn't really do a lot, though, as you're seeing.
Right.
He's huge, though. He's 6'10", with a 7'2" wingspan. Very lean frame like his brother. Like he said, he didn't play very much in college, so it'll be interesting to see if this is, that's the Greek Freak's little brother. I want a Greek Freak too,
Right.
or what this is, because we're going to find out. I'm sure this is a D-League guy who's going to need some seasoning.
Yeah, for sure.
But overall, who do you think had the best draft, team-wise?
I still think Phoenix had the best draft.
Phoenix?
I think they plugged the most holes that they possibly needed to. And so to me, just being able to go back to Phoenix, and we're pulling it up here real quick so we can highlight their draft. But Phoenix with DeAndre Ayton, again, getting the best player in the draft, trading Zaire Smith.
Receiving Mikal Bridges.
That's the big one. Being able to get Mikal Bridges to go with DeAndre Ayton. That's 2 instant starters. That's 2 guys that instantly will come in right off the bench. They'll play, or right off the bench, right out of the summer league, right into the starting rotation. When you can run Alfred Payton, you can run Devin Booker, you can run Michael Bridges, and then DeAndre Ayton and Marquez Chris as a power forward. But even then, I guess they don't even have to rush Mikal Bridges because you have T.J. Warren, who's still a solid small forward.
Right, and let's not forget last year they got Josh Jackson, who is
Yep.
going to be huge for them. T.J. Warren, I like him a lot too. It's just a matter of getting it all to gel with that style of play. Naturally, the West is right now more dominant. There's more talent. Yep. It's more competitive. It's harder to make the playoffs. And to climb that ladder, I mean, look at the division they're in with Sacramento, Clippers, Lakers, Warriors, the Pacific side. Not that difficult to leap above the Kings, Lakers, and Clippers.
Right, so they actually have a chance to make it to the playoffs this year. Going from the first pick to an 8 seed, that would be pretty impressive.
That would be huge.
That would be a story.
That would be huge.
All right, so what about you? Who do you think had the best draft this year?
It's hard for me not to like Atlanta having 3 picks in the first, but honestly, I like Philadelphia.
Philly, huh?
I'm going to go with Philly in the East, and let me tell you why, okay? Not that I like them trading Mikal Bridges to Philly, okay? But it's the rest of the draft, okay? Not only did they get Little Greek Freak, all right? They got Zaire Smith as basically their number 1 overall. He fills that need because I believe J.J. Redick is a free agent or at least restricted.
I think he's a free agent because he signed that $33 million contract or something crazy that I made fun of him for, and then all of a sudden they're pushing it.
Right. So, yeah, he is a free agent. Yep. So he will be a free agent. So basically they're going to plug in Zaire Smith right there. You have Ben Simmons, Robert Covington, Dario, and Amir Johnson. You have Joel Embiid too. Who's going to be the starter there. And then you have Fultz. TJ McConnell I like a lot. But look at the depth they got here. They get a big lanky point guard, all right, in Landry, Shaman. And then they go get Kyrie Thomas, a shooting guard who's a sharpshooter who instantly fills the 3-point production, hopefully. If not, there's going to be a combination of Shammer and Thomas picking up the roles. They still have Fultz, whose shooting motion is going to get tweaked this summer, and hopefully he's going to come back fully healthy. Now, the last 3 guys in the second round, Kyrie Thomas actually was traded to the Pistons. I apologize. But, Bogna and Spalding.
Okay, I got 2 future seconds.
Yep, which is good for the future. Okay, so they get Shake Middleton in a trade with Dallas.
They traded young Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
To Dallas.
To Dallas, which... reading that now kind of forces me to go back to my other comment. I mean, at first glance, looking at all their picks, yeah.
They started to trade away some of it, so you're going back to Atlanta, eh?
Here's my thing, okay? If Philly would have kept those picks, yes, they would have had mine. But Atlanta, the 3 first-round picks, okay, now they have Trae Young, Kevin Huebner, and then Omar Spellman, okay? And then, and they did it too.
They traded Devontae Graham.
If he stays there and they run with 2 guards,
and all they got was 2 second-round
picks. And I thought Devontae Graham was highly underrated.
Oh,
I thought, due to, Trae Young stealing all the limelight pretty much, I just, and probably, if I'm going to go 3 teams, all right, I'll go 3 teams. So Sixers, I think, improved a lot, all right? I think the Hawks improved a lot with young talent. And then I got to agree with you on the Suns because they were only, it was a Devin Booker show. I like Josh Jackson. But, man, I think the worst team, all right, it had to be OKC.
Oh, OKC was a little rough here.
If we go to the draft board and we look, all right, here, let's just go back here. Sorry, we're doing things on the fly here on an iPad. So let's talk about teams that did not have a first-round pick. Detroit, Houston, Miami, New Orleans, OKC, Toronto. Instantly red flags for Toronto.
Yep.
Losing Dwayne Casey as a coach. Now there's rumors that DeMar's getting traded, okay?
And Kyle Lowry.
Yep.
There's some rumors Kyle Lowry could come to Cleveland, which regular season-wise great. Postseason, he's a choker.
Yeah. At that point,
give me Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, Dennis Schroeder.
Give me Schroeder over Lowry, please.
It doesn't bode well for Detroit, who's in a rebuild. They did get some second-round picks. They did get Bruce Brown, which is pretty
basically
much
a first-rounder.
First-rounder, yeah. Houston, I don't have a problem with them giving up first-rounders here, besides the fact it hurts their cap space for cap future. They could have used, even though they would have had a late first-round pick, they would have had the 30th pick. They're in the same boat as Golden State. I look for them to add another vet, like a Tyreek Evans, like I said. And my biggest fear is them getting somebody like a healthy Jabari Parker. And then all of a sudden, the bloodbath will be the West Finals. Miami probably could have used it, but
they absolutely could have.
But I look for, here's my sleeper trade, all right? Miami trades Whiteside to Boston. Sends Horford, and the Heat get a future first-round pick. And just imagine that, because then that's a super team.
I don't want to imagine that, because that's the one center I want more than anything else in Cleveland is Hassan Whiteside.
Whiteside is a monster.
Love that man. It's another guy I trade for all the time in 2K. I get Kemba and Whiteside both.
Number 1 overall, I want Boogie. Boogie's my number 1.
Of course.
But we're not going to get
Boogie. Boogie's going to go back to New Orleans. So if I can't get Boogie, give me Hassan Whiteside.
Exactly.
And I think you can get him cheap, only for this reason. Because he's an all-star center. Mm-hmm. But Miami is kind of done with him, at least from what the rumors are saying.
Miami needs a rebuild,
and if they're done with him and they just don't want him anymore, who do you want? Other than Kevin Love and LeBron and Colin Sexton, who do you want? Or Larry Nance. I want to keep Larry Nance. Again, another Akron guy, Cleveland guy. I want to keep him here in Cleveland.
And to me, I'm cool with a sign and trade on Rodney Hood and with a TT.
I could do that. Yeah.
Goodbye.
I like Rodney Hood, but I would definitely give up Rodney Hood for Mr. Whiteside.
And then we have New Orleans, who we both agree they need another guard. They could probably benefit from somebody like a Tyreek Evans. I think he was there before he was in Memphis.
but they could probably use him again. OKC for sure needed one piece, maybe a younger piece, a talented guy that they could plug in. They didn't
that
have
hurts them as they risk big on Carmelo, and Carmelo had a great career, but age has left him in the dust.
And, I mean, a lot has to do with the type of player Carmelo is. He's never been a defensive stud. He's never been a guy you've counted on at the other end of the floor. It's strictly an offensive player in that. I love Melo to death, being a Baltimore dude, but I think for the benefit of OKC, if he really wanted to win a championship, that needs restructured. You need to take a pay cut and get somebody else in there. And you need to come off the bench. There's nothing wrong with being a sixth man, especially at his age. You're not LeBron James. I'm sorry.
You're not the Carmelo in Denver, or even the Carmelo that first came to New York.
Exactly.
You're a Carmelo who's on the wrong side of 35.
You're hoodie Carmelo.
Yeah, you're a hoodie Carmelo. You are looking closer to retirement than you are of another 35-point game. So,
yes. So with that being said, who had the worst draft?
Who had the worst draft? That's. I think I'm going to have to think about this one, because this one's a good one. That's a good question. The worst draft. Who didn't have a pick? Because that's the...
Toronto.
Miami didn't have a pick.
So those are naturally my 1-2, but
yeah.
Let's try to narrow the playing field, because let's not pick on Miami and Toronto.
Who had the worst one?
Who had the worst... I got to say... I almost want to point a big finger at the Lakers.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Lakers, and the Magic got a lot of talent. Well, how should I say this? The Magic didn't get a lot of talent. They got a lot of youth. Yeah. So if you're a Lakers fan and you're listening to this, you should be kind of upset because, they got a 2 and they got a center. And honestly, you don't really need a center. I mean...
Brook Lopez is just fine. He's a quality center.
He's locked up contract-wise, I think. So, with that being said, I'll go with the Lakers in the West. In the East, I got to go with the Magic. I don't... Mo Bamba is great anywhere else but Orlando. I think Mo Bamba needed somebody else paired next to him. And I'm sorry, I don't think it's Aaron Gordon. I think Aaron Gordon's somebody you send to Cleveland! Or...
I don't want Aaron Gordon in Cleveland.
I would take TT.
I think he's. Well, I'd take him over. I'd take him.
I think LeBron motivates that kid. Next thing you know, that kid's 28.
I think he's a poor man's Blake Griffin. That's what he reminds me of. A less talented Blake Griffin.
Detroit had a
and
rough
I think
draft.
Blake Griffin's overrated.
Wow, I don't know if I can tolerate the disrespect to my former Clipper favorite, but
I like Blake Griffin, but he's injury prone. And I know he played out in the other LA, the little brother LA, but when you have Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, and Blake Griffin, you should have went to the Western Conference Finals at least once.
Yeah, I agree
at least once
there.
Because that's.
And I didn't
before,
appreciate him punching the towel boy or whoever it was for making fun of him.
Yeah, this was before Golden State went on their run, when San Antonio was really starting to hit their age, and they were still losing to San Antonio.
They basically had
first round outs.
3 superstars.
Yeah.
Chris Paul,
losing in the first
Blake
round.
Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, and pretty much a Hall of Fame coach in Doc Rivers. So I agree with you.
I think that was a big disappointment.
A lot has to do with the general management team and the ownership. They had the speculation of the owner being racist.
Yeah, that old Donald Sterling thing.
But I believe Ballmer and the fact that Jerry West is now the GM there, I think the Clippers are on this nice swing up.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be rebuilt, a youth movement. I think everything's going to be all right with them. But overall, as Cavs fans, 1 pick. If you had to grade us on our 1 pick, I think we did just fine.
Cleveland, yeah, I give them my homer pick. I want to give him an A+, obviously. But
me too.
But overall, I think I'm going to give him a B+.
That's how I feel.
Only because for this reason, and this grade could very well change. If Michael Porter becomes a superstar, that grade drops to an F. Because I wouldn't say necessarily.
It all depends on.
It can go a C, C-.
Yeah.
It all depends on how Colin Sexton performs and how Michael Porter Jr. performs. But again, that's not just Cleveland. That's Chicago who passed on him. Cleveland, Philly. Can you imagine if he went would have went to Philly and become another superstar along with Ben Simmons.
Do you know who the last great point guard to come out of Alabama was?
No.
Mo Williams.
Wait,
Yeah.
are we calling Mo Williams a great point guard?
Well, let's just
Solid
say
point guard?
solid career
Solid
point
career
guard.
point guard. Okay.
Mo Williams came out of Bama, and if that's the comparison, well,
But
Mo,
you know what? He has a completely different skill set than Mo Williams.
he does.
Sexton's not a three-point shooter, and he's more of a slasher and take it and finish it above the rim, which I think is going to pair along him nicely with LeBron because that's kind of what Kyrie was before he established his three-point shot.
Yep.
So, and good call, Mo Williams in 2003.
2003. Whoa, nice pull, man. Must have had his rookie card or something. So,
But yeah, I think Cleveland did all right. But again, I think it's all if Colin Sexton's fine, like a good ball player, I'm not going to worry about Michael Porter Jr. But if Colin Sexton kind of falls and Michael Porter rises and becomes a stud, then we're looking at this and saying, why did we do that? And then we can look back and say, okay, well, it was the injury history, but at number 8, was it really that big of a risk? And I think it is with Colin Sexton still on the board and his skill set.
yep.
So I think we made the safe pick,
I agree
but
with
a
you.
good pick. So
Give me your rookie of the year out of this class.
rookie
Last
of the year out of this class, not even a question, not even a second thought. No, I'm just kidding. It's DeAndre Ayton. As much as I love Jaren Jackson, it's going to be the DeAndre Ayton Devin Booker show in Phoenix, and I think DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker are going to carry them to the 8 seed, and I think whoever Phoenix's coach is going to win Coach of the Year, because how can you not give that coach who goes from 8 seed or from the number 1 overall pick to an 8 seed, and I think Phoenix is going to be. If I can watch some Suns games this year, I think I'm going to try to. Because I think they're going to be a very fun team to watch this year. So I'm going to pick my rookie of the year, the number 1 pick this year, DeAndre Ayton.
All right, so I am going to have to, I would say 70% of me agrees with you, but I'm going to go with my dark horse, so we have 2 different players to watch. I got to say you could be right about Jaren Jackson.
I love
okay?
Jaren Jackson.
I wanted with Marc Gasol, Mike Conley. I mean, the problem is, okay, I just don't know if a big can be Rookie of the Year after Donovan Mitchell's year last year, or even Ben Simmons. Regardless of who wins that battle, which honestly it should be Donovan Mitchell.
Yep.
Sorry, Ben Simmons, you got injured. Suck it up, make the All-Star game, and move on from there. You got Joe Embiid next to you because Donovan Mitchell doesn't have anybody. I mean, he's got, Rudy
Gobert,
yeah.
but he's a defensive guy. He's not a
And
scorer.
Derek Favors is starting to fall apart.
At 26, he's falling apart.
And even Rubio will probably start to show signs of the decline soon because he is getting up there. He played a couple years. He ran hard in Minnesota. It's so hard because any of the top 4 guys could
Doncic
do it.
Could do it. Bagley could do it over in Sacramento. But I think Bagley's gonna.
Well, I meant the post. I don't think.
Oh, okay.
I don't think Luka has a chance because he still has issues creating his own shot.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. His spot up threes and wide open jumpers. Yeah, I think you're knocked down. I think you're average maybe 14, 15 a game. But the post, dude, the battle between Bagley, Ayton, and Jackson Jr.
I just think Bagley's gonna go under the radar because he plays in Sacramento.
But see, Boogie was the same way, and Boogie went there, and he got the recognition, got the love, and I mean, I think the Kings will be much better next year. I don't think they'll have a top 3 pick. I think the Kings will, maybe float back to the 10 to 15 pick range. I would like to see the Kings pick up. Man, I have 4 teams. You know what I mean? Number 1, don't get it wrong. I am a Cavs fan. 1, Clippers 2, Hornets 3, but I do like the Kings probably at 4 in the West. From the Chris Webber days. Those days were just really fun to watch with Vladdy under the block too, and Mike Bibby. But who is your biggest bust in this year's draft?
Biggest bust is easy because I said I don't like this player right off the rip. Grayson Allen.
Grayson Allen. I'm gonna go with Trae Young. I think Trae Young is gonna come in. I think he had such a small sample size in college. Played against. Don't get me wrong, I respect the Big 12 because, KD came from there and a couple other big guys, but he got shut down in the Big 12 tournament. He got shut down in March Madness. And, I don't think with the way... I think it all depends on the style of play, and I just don't know if it's going to mesh in Atlanta with everything they have. The NBA game is light years above the college game when it comes to playing style, because in college you normally have an offense you run with a couple sets built inside of this. In the NBA, you're running multiple offenses with multiple sets for each offense. Not to mention you're switching between zone and man and transition. And plus... The biggest flaw of this guy, defense. Anybody. When Kyle Korver can take you off the ball, which I think Kyle Korver can take this guy off the ball, I think you have a defensive liability issue.
Yeah, for sure.
But we've been going for about an hour and 35 minutes. This thing's probably going to be an hour and a half long. Do you have anything else you want to add, buddy?
I don't. I'm going to pick, like I said, I'm going to pick Phoenix to go to the playoffs in the Western Conference. I'm going to pick Memphis to take a step forward, and Jaren Jackson and DeAndre Ayton fighting for that Rookie of the Year. I think the Cavs, I'm going to make a bold prediction out the East. The Cavs are going to take the 1 seed because I think LeBron's staying, and I think there's a big move that's going to be made, whether it be Kawhi Leonard, which I don't know if I want to take that risk. Another name on the radar that I would like to see if we don't get Kemba Walker, Dennis Schroeder, Hassan Whiteside. There's so many moves the Cavs can still make via trades. There's so many ways to reshape this roster, and I think Kobe Altman's looking for that. And I think from Kobe Altman's comments, Dennis Schroeder's a perfect guy because he wants to establish young guys, and Schroeder's still only 25, 26. So I would gladly take him as our starting point guard and running with Sexton. So those are my bold predictions for the season. Cavs number 1, DeAndre Ayton and Jaren Jackson fighting for Rookie of the Year, and the Suns making the 8 seed.
Wow, I don't know how to respond after
that.
The
Thunder don't make the playoffs.
Ooh, see, and this is why we need to do another show. We're going to have another show coming up as we have NBA free agency coming up. I believe the 28th is when they need to announce whether they're opting in and out. I think we're going to try to get together to talk about who opted in and who opted out, as well as July 8th is when free agency officially starts. So I think both of us are going to come up. We're going to get together for a show. We both want to do a Cavs show together. We want to talk about what we need. I, for one, am very... How do I want to say this? I'm afraid at what we might do to get a rental player. Obviously, SkiveWalker has no fear talking about getting the best talent out there right now. And to me, a league minimum contract for Rondo for a year, too, works. Because, coming off the bench, give him 20 minutes. If Sexton doesn't, even if they got to swap and Rondo's got to start in the playoffs, I think Rondo can play 20 minutes hard. And not to mention, I would love to see him trash Steph Curry in the finals on national TV.
If you're telling me our big free agent splash this year is Rondo and Dwight Howard on minimum, the mid-level contracts, I am still okay with it.
Oh, I think we are a top 3 seed in the East. I don't know if we can overthrow a seed, but this is why we need to do another show.
We're going to be going on. So that was our draft recap there.
Like we said, we got a lot of shows coming up. We got the All-Star game coming up in baseball. We're going to be doing a show for.
I just voted today. Make sure you make your vote selections, and don't be one of those fans who votes 35 times in a row.
Because if you do, you automatically become a Royals fan, and they suck, all right? All right? You've had Salvador Perez in there forever, and Mike Moose. Please stop voting so much, Royals fans. I hate you guys. You're constantly ruining the voting process. And MLB, let us vote for pitchers, not just hitters. That's soft. Also, we got NFL free agency coming to a conclusion as camps are warming up. You got rookies, you got news. We also have, we will probably have a hockey recap. I will be doing a recap for the draft for the Penguins. Also, the Orioles draft concluded a couple weeks ago. It's a little bit harder to do hockey and baseball drafts, but I will make sure I snag one for you guys. I'm sure the SkiveWalker will be pumped to talk about Yankee youth, as it is the dirty word in my house.
We got a switch hitter and a switch pitcher with our first pick in the first round.
And the Orioles decided to draft like 8 pitchers in the first 9 rounds. So, woo! Yeah, rebuild. It's coming our way. By the way, the Orioles have 20 wins now. I'm happy, and we still suck.
We're almost at the halfway mark, and they finally got 20 wins.
As long as we have less than 100 losses, that's all I want. That's all it's on my Christmas list.
43 more wins. That's it. 43 more wins. And you're at 99 losses.
It's just, yeah. But please like it, share it, comment, agree with us, disagree with us, chat with us, whatever you guys want. Post in the comments section. Just let us know what you guys think. Like we said, we're going to have a couple shows coming up here in the week. If not, perhaps maybe even tomorrow. Just depends on the schedules. But thank you, my friend.
Yes, sir.
This was a good one. Yes, it was. It was fun. And we got a lot of things. Make sure you guys comment everything that Austin said, how he A, predicted all the free agent signings, and B, predicted the Cavs as the number 1 seed in the East, because I'm going to hold him to that.
Hey, I was just saying, there's a chance that this Cavs team can get real good. Kemba Walker will be hard to get. Whiteside, I think, will be easy. Howard, I think, would be easy. But the only problem with Howard is if you get in a bidding war with Golden State, you're going to lose. Because why would you not want to go to that team? And that's saying somebody from Akron, Ohio. So if it comes down to Golden State and Cleveland, I have a sneaky suspicion Dwight Howard's going to go to Golden State, and we're going to get pummeled again.
Unless he decides to stay in the East. He was out west with the Lakers, right? Yeah. Unless he decides that that's not his taste. He is from Atlanta, I believe.
Yeah.
So maybe he stays
Maybe he'll
East.
take the Shaq track to win a ring for the King.
As long as it doesn't end up. But he's going to end up like Karl Malone, period.
Right.
So,
all right, guys.
Take it easy. The Fett and SkiveWalker. Peace.
Peace.